Welcome to episode 40 of the 24-Hour Hustle Show, and today we got special guests, owners, stylists, color specialists of Salon. I'm gonna do that again. Owners, stylists, color stylists. Messed that up too. Welcome to episode 40 of the 24-Hour Hustle Show, and today we got special guests, owner and color specialist of Salon LVLX, Miranda Stull. Damn, that one felt good. Welcome to the 24-Hour Hustle Show. I'm your host, Anthony Freeze, and this is the show where we get the opportunity to sit down with amazing guests and find out about their stories, their struggles, and also their success. If this is the very first time you're learning about us, definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell to get these notifications every single Friday at 12 p.m. But today, we got a special friend and good guest. Today we got Miranda Stull on here. We've known each other for quite some time now. Been following your journey for a while. I'm glad we got the chance to reconnect.
Totally.
I love the conversation that we had over a video conference. Because I know our schedules are pretty crazy.
Yes.
But you do what you got to do. So video conference was just as good.
It worked.
So yeah. So I'm glad to be able to have you on today. So welcome on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
So for people who don't know who you are yet, give us your name, your background, and all the things that you're doing with some of the businesses.
Cool. So my name is Miranda Stull. I'm 29. I'm from Clarion, Pennsylvania originally. Moved here 5 years ago just to take on a new business venture. I was originally working for a salon here in Shadyside, and it was amazing because it was like out of my comfort zone. So I was in the business, I was doing hair. I'm now a hairstylist, hair artist in the Strip District, an owner, which is huge for me coming from like where I'm about to tell you my journey was. Yeah. But I worked for a private hair studio back in my hometown. There were like, I think there were like 6 or 7 stylists. So it was very, very small. And when I felt like I outgrew my time at the salon in Clarion, but I learned so much. And I was just like, man, I want to try something different. And Pittsburgh it was. You know, Pittsburgh is an amazing, is an amazing city just for numerous reasons, obviously, but it's close to home, but you still can get really cool opportunities. So it was the time for opportunity for me. I just needed to just jump and go. So 5 years ago led me here, and here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome.
5 additional years later, it's just crazy. So as I said, I am now a business owner, and from my journey to get to being a business owner, I was telling you I worked for a private salon here in Shadyside, and I worked there for a little less than a year. It was kind of crazy because, I don't know for you, Anthony, but for me, going from being probably I'm just going to say this, I was really good at what I did back in my hometown, okay? I had a lot of, a huge following. My book was booked out for months. It felt like months. Literally, I had guests that couldn't get in for 2 to 3 months, which was huge, for being a really young stylist. And I pride myself in that. I became an educator with the Joyco Color Company, and so we deal with hair color. And so, I don't know about you, but all the other ladies and gentlemen out there, when we want an instant change, coloring seems to be the way to go.
Right.
And for me, it was really awesome because a simple color can change people's it can change our lives, how we feel in that moment. So I wanted to take that business venture and become a color educator, kind of learn a little bit more about that. So I integrated all of those techniques that I've learned, brought that to the city, and I was hit because it was you thought you were the best, and now it's you're starting over, and I'm oh man, what did I get myself into? So I'll tell you what, it has been a beautiful journey, and I know we'll talk about this a little bit more, but it is just being here today is just such an honor, because it is all about the journey.
Yeah. And
what you learn on the way, the different techniques that you pick up from other people. We call them little golden nuggets that you pick from individual people on and that's what makes you you. So it has been such a wild ride, and I'm so grateful for everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I've been been through to get myself here. So
yeah, what I'm so happy about having you here is number one, I am not in the space of doing hair and stuff like that. I don't know if you noticed, but it'll be a great perspective to have you on for people that want to get into that space, to be able to share your story,
of course,
and you know, share your passion on that, and help other people to maybe get into that space as well. So it'll definitely be great for sure. Be able to impact a lot of people. So
that's it.
It'll definitely be good for sure. So what was it that got you into this line of work? Was there somebody that inspired you when you were younger, or was it something that happened when you grew up? What kind of happened?
Okay, so I'm from a family of 3 boys and my mom and dad. Okay, and so I was the only girl in my family. And growing up, you know, I'd want to do hair and do all these fun little things, and my brothers are like, no, you know, we're gonna ride 4-wheelers and dirt bikes, we're gonna play football, we're gonna go get dirty, and I'm like, fine, you know, whatever.
Tomboy style.
Tomboy style, right? And then I don't know what had happened. This is kind of crazy. It was 2 weeks before I'm getting ready to graduate.
From where?
Union High School, in Reimersburg, Pennsylvania. And it was crazy because my guidance counselor came up to me, she's like, Miranda, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know, because I was not a school fan. Like, I was a singer growing up. I was involved on our dance team, you know, kind of the artsy type of feel. And, you know, and I did some singing on my journey, which has been really fun. I did Idol in 2011 here in Pittsburgh.
You said you won what?
American Idol.
Get out of here!
I didn't win.
Pittsburgh,
no, didn't win. I mean, I was the top 75 out of 15,000 people, so that was huge.
Right.
But, like, I knew the arts were kind of like, it was my journey. You know, I knew that was kind of like something that I wanted to focus on. So I think my brothers, like, yeah, it's nice to have that, like, tomboy, like, feel, to be able to have, like, that background of, like, hey, I can do this. But I also knew that hair for me, like I was telling you earlier, you know, when you do something different, the confidence that it brings out in you, it's just an amazing feeling. And so when my guidance counselor was like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, really, I don't know. And at that time, we had a beauty academy. It was about 40 minutes from my house. I was like, I'm going to try it. And worst comes to worst, I hate it. But I have a degree. So I completed it in 9 months, you know, which that's pretty much the standard. It's 1,250 hours. And you can complete it kind of whenever works for you. And dude, I got in and I loved it. It was like, I really thought it would be one of those things like, okay, there's another plaque for me, or there's, you know, another certificate. This is cool to have. But like, what I realized after going to school, okay, getting into the arts, and another thing was this is what kind of fired me up and like fueled me. I had people that were like, Miranda, you're never going to make anything out of yourself doing hair. How are you ever going to make money from doing this? Because I really just don't think people really truly, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not pride themselves, but they don't honor themselves as far as like in a financial way. Like, they don't, I'm trying to think of the word to say, like, it's not that they like don't give themselves like enough like money. Like, it's, I don't want to say it like comes down to money, but at the end of the day, it's like services are inexpensive, okay? I feel like they don't pride themselves for like their time that they've put into their education. So it's kind of like, you cut hair, you color hair. No, like, dude, there's a science behind it, and that's what I got fascinated in was the chemistry. And I like hated school. I told you that. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a school fan or anything, but the chemistry behind color and how things actually work. And when you meet people face to face, you sit down with them to have your consultation, it's a face-to-face thing. That was a game changer for me, because I would have people that would come to me, men and women, that would truly be like, I'm upset because my hair is ruined, or I'm upset, my confidence is crushed because of XYZ. And I now have this platform and this opportunity to change that for them. And for me, dude, like, besides people saying, hey, you're not gonna make any money and you're not gonna be good at this, that was my fire. And it was really cool for me, because as soon as I got out of beauty school, I got a job at the private hair studio that I was talking to you about, you know, in Clarion, and I ran with it. And I'm telling you, I felt like that was a gift that was just, it just fell in my lap, because I wasn't banging my head against the wall and like, I'm going to go to school for nothing and just see what degree comes of it. No. I really was just like, let's just let it go and see what happens. And I truly believe, and I even put that in my business nowadays, like, you can't think about things too much. Like, yeah, as an owner, you have to have like a plan of attack, which I totally feel is super important. but like learning to let go and just letting the incredible blessings just kind of fall upon, you know, your business and your path, that is how like the most amazing things happen. And that's what led me, you know, to my hair journey. So that was really cool. So I would say who inspired me the most, my mom was a huge influence to me my whole life. You know, she's been there. My dad was a coal miner, because that was kind of huge back in my hometown. And so he worked all the time. He's an awesome man, but just works all the time.
Right.
And my brothers were a little bit older, and I have a 27 now year old brother, you know, and he was kind of doing his own thing, right? You know, he was training like with his dirt bikes and, you know, with racing and stuff like that. So it was just kind of like me and my mom. So at the end of the day, like, she's my foundation. Like, she's my rock. And even to this day, it's every day we text, every day, what's up? Tell me about life. Tell me about what's going on. And so she's been my rock and my constant encouragement my whole journey. And, you know, now to this day, we still have an incredible relationship because she was like one of the first people that like truly believed in me. And I think by having even just that one person, that little bit of that belief system kind of instilled in you, I almost was like, nothing can stop me.
Yeah,
you know,
it's good to have that.
It was really cool, you know, because unfortunately a lot of people don't have that type of support.
Right.
From their parents. And so mom kind of played the role of mom and dad. My dad was still very much there, but like she was everything. So I would say that she totally, from start to finish, was my inspiration behind all of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been really cool.
Yeah, having that support system is definitely important and key to building up your belief.
100%.
And having the courage to be able to do the things that you're doing right now. So that's definitely key. I think one of the things that you were trying to say as far as like maybe people looking at hair is maybe just doing hair and just being in and out and be done with it, or trying to make money with it.
Right.
It's more than that, and it's probably, as far as with the client, empowering them and making them feel a lot better about themselves 100%. And building up their confidence and their belief in themselves and things like that. So, and it could do that for sure.
Totally.
And that's definitely an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Another thing that I definitely want to be able to talk about is you also being a mom as well.
Yeah.
And how do you balance all of this? Because there's definitely a lot that you have on your plate as well. And just for people who maybe have kids or even don't have kids, just to understand that perspective of how someone like you is maximizing on your time, because you got the salon and you also have another business that you do as well. So how are you maximizing your time and doing all of this as well?
Right. So outside of having Drake, so he's my 4.5-month-old. I got married.
Love the name, by the way.
Drake William. He's awesome. He's like everything. And man, that puts you in a whole new perspective. Like you thought you were good before, but like now it's like, oh man, you have 24 hours in a day. What are you gonna do? Like you're saying, to maximize. And I'm like, you know, my husband and I, like, it was exhausting at first, right? Because I took 12 weeks off work. Luckily, I was able to do that and, you know, still had my guests see another guest artist of mine, so they were taken care of, which was really cool. My husband was able to be at home a little bit with me to kind of get in the flow of, like, hey, what is it we're going to do? So before that, just to kind of backpedal, I was working, like, 12 hours a day, which I loved it. But, I mean, morning to night, I was seeing guests back to back at the studio, hustling it. I'm talking, but it was fun. It was never work to me because it was just fun, and I was changing people's lives, and it was amazing. So I would say I learned it's been a new version of myself that I would say just kind of evolved from this new journey that I took on with the baby and being married. And I would say what I'm doing now to maximize my time, you know, because I was exhausted.
I bet.
You know, like your girl was like,
I'm pretty sure, I mean, with the baby and everything, you're probably up to, like, I don't know, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning.
You think so, right?
Yeah, share with us, because I don't got kids yet, but let me know. Prepare me. Prepare the people.
Okay, guys, I can't even explain to you. My son sleeps 9 hours a night. Like, I don't even know how, like, he is good. God is good, because my son sleeps 9 hours a night, so I'm refreshed. I wake up refreshed. My husband wakes up refreshed. It's crazy. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm grateful. So honestly, though, like, what I do nowadays, like, so Drake will go down at like 8:30. Okay, I still, like you were saying, I do work in other business as well. So outside of my studio, I'm in network marketing as well. So I can do a lot of work from my iPhone and my MacBook. So when he's down, or when he's down between a nap, I'll jump online and I'll do my work. Okay. But what I've liked to do research, you know, I like to just kind of watch videos and see what people before me who are successful, what they're doing, you know, to gain a couple more hours back in the day. And one thing that I've learned is, like, seriously, if you go to bed an hour earlier if you can, or even get up an hour before you usually get up, that's 7 extra hours that you're gaining a week. Think if you could do that twice, like that's 14 extra hours that you're getting in a week. I mean, that might not sound like a lot, but it's huge.
It compounds over time.
It totally does. And I mean, think of what you're doing in a month. So at the end of the day, I think prioritizing, right? I know that Drake's my #1 priority, so I'm going to make sure that he's good to go. As soon as he's good to go, I can't lose myself, because I really felt like I was losing myself. I was just becoming a stay-at-home mom, and let me tell you, for you stay-at-home moms out there, I commend them, because it is a hard job to do. I'm telling you, you're exhausted. At the end of the day, it's like if you don't have mom groups, or if you don't have like friends that have babies, unfortunately they might not get it. Like people just might not understand.
Right.
It is a different type of a grind, let me tell you. But shout out to working moms too. Shout out to all moms. Let me just start there, okay? Because like that's a different breed in itself, and I never thought in a million years that it would be as crazy as it could be, as it is. So like I'm saying, I go to bed. Well, if I can stop my mind from racing, like I try to do like an hour before, like I used to. I used to be like a midnight type of person. Yeah. But seriously,
so like 11 p.m. Okay.
And then honestly, Drake wakes up at like 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. Sometimes we'll get up a little bit earlier than that and just, you know, start going through my my messages, start going through my emails, just to get my day started. You know, jump started. And honestly, like I've seen my business just like explode because I'm able to give my business my complete heart and soul, like my 100%, without being distracted by, oh, is he taken care of, you know, all these different things, my groceries, like all these different, you know, avenues, like what I need to get done in a day.
Right.
So I say prioritizing your time of what is truly important to you, you know, giving yourself, like honoring yourself with that extra hour to just you, to solely get it. And that has, like I said, has opened so many doors for me and my business. And like I said, I'm well rested, which is good too. So it's hard whenever people are not, you know, not rested and just exhausted from, you know, just the day. Yeah. To be able to give their business 100%. So I would totally say that has been working really well for me.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's talk about the business a little bit and how you get that started up. Cool. What were maybe some of the initial challenges that you faced in getting it started for anybody that may be looking to get one started? Maybe some of the things that were challenging or just a hurdle to overcome. What were some of those in the beginning for you, and what was your experience like overcoming them, and what was something that you learned out of that?
Yeah, so you know that I moved from Clarion. Yeah. I had no clients here, except what I've gained at my other business, right? So when I made the decision to go out on myself, I was a freelance artist. So I legit was just reaching out to people. I got my LLC, reaching out to people and saying, hey, I'm taking on this new business venture. So which medium was you as far as like reaching out to them? Texting. Everything. You know what I mean? Because honestly, Instagram is like my social platform. Like I love Facebook, and I don't do Twitter. I can't tweet. I'm not really sure I understand it, really, to be 100% honest with you. But Instagram is everything for me. But for me, I like to get on the phone with people so they can hear like the sincerity in my voice. I'll text, or I'll do voice to text so they can actually hear what it is that I'm saying to them, or give them a call, FaceTime like you and I did. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I want them to truly see like the passion behind what it is that I'm doing, and like to say, hey, I'm here to take care of you. What is it that we can do? How can we make this work, you know, for us? So I would say totally like that is what I did. And I'm telling you, I was traveling to Clarion and back. So Clarion, for those of you who don't know, an hour and a half northeast. So in a day, that's 3 hours. So a lot of my time was spent traveling, or traveling to people and seeing people and meeting people. And I would say it was 2 years ago, and I was proposed with a business venture from one of my clients. Actually, he was like, hey, I know you're thinking of like having a building and like buying a building and making your own business in there, but have you ever heard of SOLA? And I was like, what is a SOLA? Like I had no clue. And so SOLA, for those of you who don't know, is basically a building that it's beauty, all things beauty related. So hair, skin, barbering, massage, lash extensions. Actually, we even have like a dental. Smile Direct is actually down in I'm in the Strip, down here in the city. And it's all things beauty related. So it kind of is like one huge building that has different little pods or private spaces, if you will, that we rent those spaces, and you literally can customize it and create it however you would like. With that being said, you are your own individual business owner without having the overhead. Right. Which is huge. Yeah. Because as you know, like with being an entrepreneur, like the overhead, you know, with your bills, let alone, you know, rental of the building, the bills, then your color, then, you know, just, I don't know, things that you want to provide for your guests as far as the top of the line equipment, you know. Right. That stuff adds up, and I literally was looking at like $100,000 for my renovation. I'm like, where am I going to get this money? Like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? And so, honestly, I was like, let's just try it and see. So they have 1 and 2 year leases. And so I'm like, let's do it. We'll do it. And I did a year lease, and then I, like, loved it. So then I would say, like, I had no clients in my first year. Went to making 6 figures in 1 year, Anthony, and I can't. I'm like, what? Yeah. So how many clients is that, would you say, on a monthly basis? Oh, in a monthly basis. See, it's hard to say because it's commission based, obviously, but it's back to back sometimes. Sometimes there's just spaces, but I have like 600 guests right now. That's good. A blessing. Yeah. It's a blessing. But I'm telling you, when you just put it out there, I'm like, you know what? I don't know where this is going to take me, but I'm going to let go, and I'm just going to roll with it, and I'm going to see what happens. And what a blessing, and how the blessings just kept coming. Not even just like the financial aspect, but actually touching that many people's lives. And just because of a business venture that I just said yes to, that would be, like, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, anybody that would want to get involved with a business venture like that, you're having people back you. You have a credible business that's kind of like your support system. You have many people that are leaving the big salon business, like the industry of being in a big studio, to being their own boss. Right. And I think, as you guys know, like millennials, just the 21st century, it's about being your own boss. Whatever that business venture might look like, because why make money for other people when you can do it for yourself? Especially in this day and age. I mean, opportunities are out there. Exactly. But I think as long as you're open to it and you're willing to get a little bit outside of your comfort zone, that's when, like, the biggest blessings just flow. So for me, yeah, I totally would just, it has been a journey, but I would never take it back for a minute. Yeah. It's been really cool. Yeah. It sounds like you definitely stretch yourself as far as getting outside of your comfort zone for sure. Yeah. And I mean, because that could be a fear of some people to be like, oh, I don't know if I really want to, you know, jump in. But sometimes if you do jump in and you do expand yourself outside of that comfort zone, you'll start to discover things within yourself that you didn't even know you had. Right. So your strengths will start to get a lot stronger. Absolutely. So yeah, that is definitely a huge point. Totally. For sure. Well, and strength, you know, totally does come to surface whenever you expand outside of your comfort zone. Because if you're just chilling in your comfort, how are you ever supposed to grow? Right. You know, but some people are cool with that, and that's fine. Some people are cool with just going the same pace their whole life and having that, you know, support system, or the backing of like, oh, I know what I'm making per year, so this is good, and that's great. You know, if that works for you, fabulous. But dude, I'm all about the opportunities, and I think that it's important as business owners, you know, to just put yourself out there in as many ways as you can. You know, just let go and let the blessings flow, man. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely growing is, throughout the journey, you definitely want to continuously want to grow. I know for me, I always want to grow too, because I don't want to feel stagnant. I hate doing something the same way, the same all the time for a long period of time, because I always want to try to maybe tweak something here, maybe improve something there, or just to make something a little bit more innovative, or just improve upon myself. Absolutely. Just to make things a lot better. So getting outside of your comfort zone is definitely key. There's actually a really good quote that I heard from someone. I can't remember where I heard it or where it came from, but it was something along the lines of, if you, with your growth and getting outside of your comfort zone and your growth zone, like, there's no growth in the comfort zone and there's no comfort in the growth zone. Oh, man.
So, and it's
so
super true. It's like
Yes.
you're not going to grow if you're only going to be comfortable in this little bubble. But then also, if you're going to be outside and want to be in the growth zone, you got to get yourself uncomfortable.
Of course.
So,
of course.
And like I said, those little nudges, and you don't got to go extreme.
Sure.
But, you know, just nudge yourself a little bit and get yourself a little bit more comfortable. And go a little bit further and get more comfortable a little bit further.
For sure.
And you'll start to expand and grow yourself more and more. And you'll start to do things that you never thought you could.
Absolutely.
So
I think the people that you meet along the way too is the biggest thing, because when you are in business, like what I like to do is look for people who are before me that are successful.
Right.
And I'm trying to follow suit, man.
Right.
I'll reach out, and one thing that I've learned is reach out. You know what I mean? Like that's what people are there for, is to help you grow, right? And just reaching out and getting like saying, hey, I'm just, you know, expanding my network. I just wanted to say, hey, you don't know what that simple conversation could lead to.
Right.
And so I think that, and like I said, taking little nuggets from this person and that person and this person can totally take your business to the next level of things that you've never even learned, because you are pushing yourself in a way that maybe you've never thought that you would.
Exactly.
So it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, mentorship definitely comes in very well with that as far as helping you grow, because when you are able to see somebody that's in life where you want to be, that helps a lot too.
100%.
And even if you can reach out to somebody physically, if they're not within reach, like, or locally, you can even read certain books, or maybe you can follow somebody on social media. Maybe you can watch their vlogs and the things that they do on their social media, and you can kind of watch what they do and kind of emulate it and grow through that as well.
100%.
If you can't find somebody close by.
Well, that's what social media is about nowadays too. You know what I mean? You want a little bit of inspiration, pop on somebody's page that you do find like as an influencer. Get that fire lit and then go to work.
Absolutely.
So I love it. I can talk to you about business all day long. Like, let's not let this session end, please, because I'm like, it's true though. When you find people that you have common interests with, man, what you can do. The lives that you can touch, the opportunities that you can create by just being innovative and just tossing ideas back and forth to one another. It's just, it's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, the network that we've even created within this show itself, being with 40 episodes.
That's so huge, you
the
guys.
network is only going to continue to keep growing as well. So
exactly.
That's good too.
40 episodes.
Yeah.
Yo, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
I appreciate it.
I'm so proud of you.
So as we get a little bit further along, where do you see yourself going in the future? Let's say in the next 2 to 5 years. What's some of the big goals or, you know, plans that you have for yourself?
So, like I said, with having the baby, I sat down with my husband and I said, we need a game plan. And I never thought in a million years, Anthony, that I'd ever say the word part-time. But I've made my life part-time and selective with like the guests that I take, because I want to be able to accommodate my clients. Like, listen, at first I did take the baby to the studio for a couple sessions, and it gets to the point where I'm like, I love that my guests love to see him, but come to the condo after and visit with him because it's too much.
Right.
So I learned, listen, you got to give yourself that time. And so part-time is kind of where I was going with the studio, but I can take guests, like private guests as well, which is really cool. So I feel like for myself, with like kind of cutting back to being 100% full-time, with being able to do the part-time gig, I still then, if I need to have our nanny sit the baby or whatever, I can now cater myself a little bit more around my guest schedules, right? I could do like late night appointments, we could do early morning sessions, and honestly, I can breathe a little bit more, right? But I did tell you, you guys know whenever you go from a full-time position, cutting back, whenever you scale back, obviously, you financially scale back. So in my mind, whenever I realized I was pregnant with a baby and I'm like, I need to do something, that's how network marketing for me came in, and it filled that void for me that I'm no longer working 12-hour days, 6 days a week, because Sundays I lead worship in my church in the Strip at Amplify. But for me, I was like, man, I need to sub out my time and that income. And I found a company that literally has done that for me. And so for me, where I see myself in the next 2 to 5 years is on a beach somewhere, doing business from the beach, maybe doing some hair, maybe I don't know, maybe it could be somewhere down south that I could have a second studio, have my private studio here in the city. I literally would love to have a second studio in down south to be able to, you know, network with those people and still continue with my craft, but also in the meantime still continue to work my business and grow that business, grow my team within my network marketing business and keep changing lives, keep changing people's financial lives. You know, it's a hair care industry with my network marketing company, and just be able to see what these products literally will do for people's actual hair and their bodies. But then if you want to, you know, rock the opportunity, what it has done for people too, to be able to retire their husbands from working, to be able to, you know, like I said, supplement your income that you'd be cutting back, allow you to travel a little bit more. So I truly in my heart see myself traveling and still doing business, and I would say just expanding my network with within the United States, the world. Who knows what happens, but I'm just open. Whatever happens, I'm excited for the journey, but I know it's going to be amazing. I truly in my heart do, because I put that energy out there. I love networking with people. I want to know what I can do to help other people, and then in turn, it helps my business grow too. So it's just been such an awesome opportunity just to say, hey, I'm not going to just be in Pittsburgh my whole life. Who knows?
Right.
I might do part-time here, part-time there. Who knows? But for the next 2 to 5 years, man, I think my husband even said, like, we want to have more babies, which is awesome. You know what I mean? But not right now. You know,
right.
Trying to get used to the mom flow.
Right.
But honestly, like, just reaching out to more people. Let's change some lives with whatever it is that we're doing. But I really feel like in the beauty industry, which is, like, with me being involved in the beauty industry, I kind of have that full circle. I can definitely do your hair, make you feel fabulous. I can give you a product to make you feel fabulous, and I can help you make money while doing all of those things. So I really feel like the businesses really coincide really well together, just kind of go hand in hand. But my goal is just to reach out to as many people as possible and just change as many lives as possible. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And then for any entrepreneur out there that is either aspiring to be an entrepreneur or they are already an entrepreneur already, what's some maybe good advice that you would give them to maybe either jump into entrepreneurship, maybe overcome fears or what have you, maybe it may belief, maybe it could be mindset. What is some good advice that you would either give to them, or maybe some good advice that you've learned along the way?
Oh man, I say just be open to it. Mentorship is huge. You know, if you do find something that you love, and truly I would say, like, do you love what you do? Do you really love what you do, or do you just like it? Right. I encourage you, soul search. You know, you really got to find what is it that, like, what is lighting my fire inside? Exactly. And then when you find that thing, maybe do some research on it. What do I have to do to get myself there? Do I need a building? Like, do I need a loan? Do I need, like, you need to literally lay it out. And what I've done, I write things down, because I feel like I'm good at talking about things, but once I actually put it on paper, it's like checklist. And to me, when I see things that are not checked off, I'm like, man, I got to get it done. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And other people learn differently all the time, which, hey, that's cool. Some people can just go and get it done. Some people like to just take their good old time. But I say, if you really want to do it, go. Jump on board and get it moving. You know, because why let time pass you by? You know, mentorship is huge. So I'd say as soon as you get a game plan of attack, and then go to work. Mentor people, find people that are incredible mentors for you. Yeah, read up on it, absolutely. Goal set, huge. You know, and then, like, be transparent. Like I was telling you, my social network or social media is where it's at, right? And you guys know live videos, just social content, and I feel like live videos are huge because you want people to really see who you are. Right. You're not always gonna have your hair done, your makeup done, you know, looking on point. Like, dude, I did a live video and the baby spit up, and it's like, this is life. Like, it's okay.
You're like, this is real.
This is my life.
You're like, oh, we're gonna have to cut this live short.
Do you mind one second? You know, I'm like, look how cute he is.
Right.
You know, but for real, like, let's be transparent, because at the end of the day, it's not all about, like, perfection. And I feel like there's so many people out there that it's like, this is the perfect picture and the perfect filter and the perfect lighting. And I'm actually writing a book too, and I'm writing this, like, in my book. It's about like self-love and like finding self-love and how, in order to be the best you, is kind of like what I'm working on with the book. And the one chapter basically just talks about how social media can be a blessing and a curse. Because I think so many people can look at people's social accounts and like, man,
like it's all pretty and perfect.
And that is not life.
Right.
Like, what is life? Is like if you wear extensions and you pull your hair up and you see a track. Guess what? You wear eyelashes, you might see a little something. Like,
right.
That's life, you guys. And for me, it's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about being transparent. And so I just say, you know, be open, be you. But I would say in order to really gain that following, transparency is huge. So
absolutely. And to expand on that a little bit more, I do love when people on social media are able to be transparent and authentic.
Absolutely.
Because people in this day and age are smart enough to know when you faking.
Absolutely.
They can tell when you just putting it out there just to maybe get likes or you trying to get shares or whatever.
Yes.
People can tell. People are not stupid.
Exactly.
So, you know, when you're able to be authentic and be real or just come straight off the dome and post something that you may be genuinely feeling, people can tell.
For sure.
You can feel it in the post, the way they wrote, either the way they wrote it or the way they said it when they were doing the video or what have you. Whenever you're being authentic, people connect with that. Because when you're able to show your flaws or the things that you're not the best at, people can connect with that because it makes it more relatable.
Exactly.
Because, you know, I'm not perfect at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I may have been doing this show for a while and things like that, but I've had some stumbling blocks along the way. You may not have seen everything, but I'm still human at the end of the day, and those things do happen.
Absolutely.
You know, I've had people either, whenever I had meetings, either can't make it or cancel because of plans, and, you know, life happens. So, you know, those things happen.
Yeah, of course.
But, you know, I just definitely like to just be real and authentic with people and just let them know, you know, because when someone can see that you are being authentic and you are being real, it lets them know that they can do the same thing that you're doing too.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's the biggest thing too, is like anybody can be a business owner. Like I said, just to tie this back in with what we were talking about, find what you love.
Exactly.
Find your passion and then run with it. Because I think a lot of people also feel like, I'm not qualified. You know, or, I went to school for 5 years, 6 years. I spent all this money in school. I can't even imagine doing business for myself.
Right.
Why?
Right.
You know, and it's funny because I'm noticing a lot of people are now not going the college route. And they're going the artsy route, or they're going, hey, I'm going to do business for myself. Because they're seeing value in themselves. And I think that as entrepreneurs, business owners, it's important for us to instill that confidence into people and saying, you are enough. You know, you are good enough. You can do it. If you want it, let's get to work.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, and to the point of also as like far as not going to college and things like that, because the education game is changing. Because at this point, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you can learn from college, you can learn online for free.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
There's definitely a lot of talks within the education system that needs to change and things that need to be implemented, because it's more old school industrial thinking versus we're in the digital age where we can actually have a lot more opportunities to be able to create opportunities for ourselves using the internet and be able to distribute the things that we love and connect with people that also like those things as well and make money doing it. So good. Yeah, so the opportunities have just definitely changed the game for sure. Education is important, but the school system needs to change. So, but as we just get closer to wrapping up, where is the best place for people to contact you? Because you shared a lot of good information.
Thank you.
So for anybody that wants to, you know, connect with you, where would that be for people to reach you?
Of course. So I was saying social platform is everything, you know, and I do have a business line, you know, that people can reach me at, but Instagram is huge. Like, I get a lot of people, like I said, they just find my Instagram and they go through, and one thing I'm learning, what I've been doing also since I've had my baby, is I'm integrating like my salon life and my real life, just to say like, hey, I do it both.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that.
So you're gonna see like, yeah, it is Salon LVLX. Okay, so you can search that and then you can find me. You can do M.Leigh Stull. So it's like Miranda Leigh Stull.
So that's the personal one?
That's the, well, it's integrated into one. But you can search both and then they'll both pop up.
Gotcha.
But again, you know, the studio is in the Strip District. I think 2343 Smallman Street, Suite 2. But yeah, my personal, like, just drop me a DM or text me, call me. Hey, I love that personal one-on-one with people, because for me, it's not like you're not just a number to me. I want to gain that relationship with people. So I love for them to get on and say, like, check out my Instagram, check out my work, and be like, okay, I can connect with her. Like, okay, she not only does really good work, but like she seems cool because like look at what she does.
Right.
So, Instagram, Facebook, same deal. I have Salon LVLX Facebook as well. So, either social platforms is great.
Awesome.
And then I have my personal number on there too, or my business number on there that people can text me, call, whatever.
Awesome.
Whatever works.
Well, that is good stuff.
Cool.
And I hope some people reach out for sure.
Same. Thank you.
And then what's a 24-hour challenge that you would propose to the audience that they can actually take action on within the next 24 hours of watching this episode?
Right. So I think just to kind of talk about, like, just to touch base on what we talked about earlier, goal setting. Writing things down, plan of action, what it is that you want to do. For me, it has worked, and I would say just write it down and get to work. Because I feel like whenever you actually see that goal on paper, it's going to be more, like, it's going to be easier to say, hey, like, I'm ready to knock this off today. I'm ready to do this today. Mm-hmm. And for me, that plan of action has worked. And I hope it works for other people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on to this show. We definitely got to do this again for
sure. No, so much fun.
Just to see how everything goes in the future. It'll also be like a nice little time capsule to see where you are now.
Cool.
And then in a few years we do another one. It's like, hey, look where we were.
I can't wait. I'm seriously so proud of you.
Yeah.
Like with this being 40, but like I can't wait to see what 400 looks like.
Right.
So I'm so proud of you too.
I appreciate it.
Cool.
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on for sure.
Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, now that we know what Miranda does with her 24 hours, we definitely want to know what you do with your 24 hours. Definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment and thumbs up this video if you like the content that we're putting up. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications, and we will see you on the next episode.